One of the things about true science, according to modern philosophers of science like Karl Popper, is that science is falsifiable. In other words, if you can't falsify it, it's not valid. So if you have water and you want to prove whether or not the freezing point is indeed 32 degrees Fahrenheit, well, what you do is you create several experiments where you freeze it and determine, because you have to allow for maybe the thermometer didn't work and other things. You don't just do it once. You do it again and again. And if it keeps coming up, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when it freezes, then you can falsify it. Because if I could prove that it freezes at 34 or 28, I falsified the claim that it freezes at 32. If I can't do that, then it's considered valid science. Now, there's obviously anomalous things that can come in later on, and that happens. Like quantum mechanics throws a spanner in Newtonian physics. But that's another problem. Now, in Tasawwuf, there is this exact same idea. It is falsifiable. That there are states and stations that happen to people in suluk that are identical states and stations. And they've been described, and people that have been through them know whether or not it's a valid experience or whether or not it's not. And Imam al-Muhasibi divided it into Rabbani, Malakani, Nafsani, and Shaitani. That those are the different types of impulses that occur to the soul. Lordly, angelic, selfish, and satanic. And he gave very specific signs for each one of those, so that you could know if a thought came to you, you could know if it came from Allah, if it came from an angel, if it came from the selfish nature, or if it came from the devil based on this. And his point was it could be replicated in all human beings. And therefore it had a validity because you could falsify it.
I'd just like to add that in light of what Imam Hamza just said, that talking about Karl Popper and the fact that science, any valid scientific theory must offer itself for disproof. And with regard to the proofs of God, that there would be another category which is default proof, because of the fact that there is no proof for his non-existence. And the ancient Chinese, the ancient Indians, the ancient Greeks, among them were skeptics and disbelievers who attempted to disprove the existence of God. Just as today we have Hawkings and others who attempt to do that. But probably in comparison with other arguments, their arguments would be regarded to be no better in any way. In fact, to have a lot of presumptions in them that make them defective. So there's also the default argument, which is that you cannot disprove God's existence. And that would be a scientific proof.